So now this is what we're supposed to be good. This is what we're supposed to be thinking about. We're continuing now in the Maimer of the previous Rebbe Chodesh HaShlishi in Taf Shin Beit, 1942, and we're now on the fourth paragraph. And the fourth paragraph is explaining how to think about God like Abraham did, and how this is the essence of Judaism. Thinking about God properly so that you get emotional about God. Emotional. And that is mostly done in the time of prayer. Prayer is called Avodat Halev. Prayer is called the service of the heart. The heart must be aroused. That was one of the main emphases of such a word, emphases of Chassidut, especially Chassidut Chabad, but Chassidut in general was emphasizing prayer, to be attached to God emotionally. And now the Rebbe is trying to tell us that that's what Abraham did. That was how he founded Judaism. That is the novelty of Judaism, that we can arouse our natural love that is in the heart of every Jew. That is our inheritance from Abraham. And we can arouse it and awaken it and reveal it, especially in prayer. But we have to do it by means of thinking. That's what it means. Vayiven Avram Mizbeach, that Abraham built an altar to God, built a way of serving God. The word for building is the same word for thinking, contemplating. Vayiven means to understand. So awakening our understanding of God. So what are we supposed to think about? We're supposed to think about how God creates how all of the world, this world and all the spiritual worlds. You don't know what the spiritual worlds are, learn a little bit about it. But the reason you should learn about these spiritual worlds, the worlds of Asiya and the worlds of Atzilus and the world of Bria, spiritual Asiya, and the angels and all this, is just to know how, to widen your awareness of what it means that God creates everything. That all of these worlds, the highest of the highest worlds, they're just called God's deed. Now the Rebbe is explaining deed, action, is the lowest aspect of a human being. Animals can do. The lochin, therefore, let's take the first word on the line, fourth line from the bottom. Lochin, therefore, hine. Toro Haklali, the general description that we give for God's creative power is, the general description we give for a human being is medaber. Aval maisa, but action, that God creates the world from action. Ikar mahuto enu mimalat medaber. This is not one of the higher qualities of man. Even an animal can act. Rak shabba belavusha seichel. Only when deed is in clothing, it becomes a garment for intelligence. A person makes a car, makes a picture. Vamiros, or his emotions. A person can make music. Kamo kolea alasara, like person, for instance, aiming at a target. Velo yachti, aiming at a target, exactly getting a bullseye. Or shekotev, or a person writes a book, or metzayer, or draws a picture. Sha'az, then, hine koach hamaisa, his power of deed, hu lavush, becomes a garment for hasara bekliya, for his aim when he is shooting. Shete'ei zurika, that is throwing, or whatever should be exact. Or kativa, or writing. Or tzior, or drawing a picture. Action alone is not a human trait. Action alone is an animal's trait. The Cain, and also Be'inyan, Mochol v'rikud, dancing, the af she'hapoel hu al yedei. Oh, something's happening. Av shapolu al yedei koach hatenua, even though the action is by means of his movement of his feet, it's only deed. Aval elo levush is just a garment for his mind and his chachma, the intelligence of dancing, which is not the case. Speech. Speech is one of the qualities of humans. Medaber. Mikol shechin, how much more so the power of thought. Shehu rak mimalas adam. This is only found by man. If so, when it says that God creates the world through his deed, so we know that this is the lowest power of God, creating the world. The lowest ability of God. The koach hadibur, the power of speech, even though that it's one of the qualities of man, nevertheless, animals also have it. The imioto rak davar anikra hanikne. I'm sorry, something's hanikne shemalamdim oto. Even though that speech is a thing which is taught to a person. Ukamo tzipuro maderas. For instance, you can teach a parrot to talk. Velo bedat tedaber, even though it speaks, a bird speaks not with any intelligence. Because then, nevertheless, hari guf etzam davar de inyano hotzi havrat hakol, which is speaking, bringing out words of speech. Yates eitzlam gankein. There is also by a parrot. Also, I'm sorry, for some reason I'm having trouble reading this. No, it's not that. It's something. Okay. Masha'en came, which is not the case. Koach HaMachshava, which is not the case. The power of thought. Sha'en of Bali Chaim. This does not exist in animals. Him and Malas Adam. This is one of the qualities of man. Koach HaMachshava, the power of thought. Be'ikra, essentially, he misharet hasechel. Your power of thought, this mainly is the garment and serves your intelligence, your comprehension. The dibur al-machshava hem misharte amidos. That speech and thought, they serve the emotions and the intelligence. Speech serves emotions, and thought, misharet, it serves intelligence. When a person has an idea, what does he do? He thinks. When a person has an emotion, he wants to say something, the emotion, then it comes out in speech. V'liyot and because the hamidot, that the emotions, hine be'ikram, essentially they are to other people. Lochin, therefore, hine gam megale ora, gam megale otam, hu koach hagilui. Therefore, the power that reveals them is the power of revelation. Emotions, the main thing of emotions is coming out. Therefore, speech comes out. That's the main thing of speech. That comes out, which is not the case thought. Thought, which serves intellect, thought does not come out. Because thought, the main thing is la'atzmo, to a person's self. Therefore, the power of thought is concealed regarding other people. When a person thinks, he thinks to himself. Thoughts remain within a person's mind, which is not the case. Speech comes out. Why? Because thoughts are the garment for intellect, and intellect is an eternal thing, internal thing, and speech comes out because speech are the garments for emotions, and the whole essence of emotions is to come out. It's to come out. Okay, what the Rebbe's point is, the Rebbe wants to get to here, is that God, we're thinking about Bruch She'amar B'hoy Olam, that God spoke and created the world. The creation of the world is, God's speech is considered to be action. Action is the lowest aspect of a human being. So God created the whole entire world, everything, just by his lowest ability, action. What about the higher abilities of God? So that's the two altars that Abraham was involved in. The lowest altar was that God's action, that he creates the world. And that's pretty amazing, that God creates the whole entire world. Right? What do we care how he creates it? If it's his lower abilities, or he creates the world, this is incredible. That should arouse your love, just the fact that God creates the world. But then you start to think, listen, that's only God's lower powers. What about God's higher powers? That's much, much above all the spiritual worlds. That should really arouse my heart. That's called the upper altar. As we'll talk about, God willing, tomorrow.